Hello Soul Tribe, it's your Soul Coach Jeremy Ryden, and this video is Moon opposite Pluto. Pluto opposite Moon in the natal chart. If you don't know where your planets are in your astrology chart, go to astro.com, put in your birth details, and you will discover your very own natal chart of all the planets where they were located at when you were born. That natal chart tells us everything about your life, your health, your wealth, your happiness, your marriage, divorces, children, goals, dreams, your soul. It's all there. It's all there for your discovery. But right now, this is for those that know that their Pluto is opposite Moon. Let's get right into it. I want to say right off the bat, you know how they always say there is no bad placement. You know, everything is, has its good and its downside. Yeah, that's true, but most likely they've never had Moon opposite Pluto in a natal chart. This to me is the most challenging, and if not the most, it's right up there. Maybe you guys can put in the comments below what you think is the most challenging in the natal chart. But to me, the Moon Pluto is one of the most challenging aspects in someone's horoscope. And this is from me doing astrology for many, many years. Why is that? Because Moon represents the mother. And Pluto represents what? It represents destruction, tearing down, so it can build back up better. So we know that the Moon represents mother. It also represents your emotions. And so what happens when the Moon is in aspect of Pluto in the birth chart, we see a child that is in an environment that does not support them emotionally. In fact, it could be a very emotionally difficult upbringing with not being supported by their mother. Maybe the mother has a mental illness, a personality disorder. You know, I'm not saying that for every Moon opposite Pluto. There's going to be some out there that says, I have a great relationship with my mom. And I'm glad you do. I really, really hope that's the case. But for a significant number of you, the percentages say that there's a very good chance your mother played a role in making you almost constantly having to reinvent yourself or being lifted up to only be brought down. Almost like you were responsible to keep your mom happy. You were responsible to keep the emotions in the house going good. So it makes you hypersensitive to people's emotions. You can read the atmosphere quicker than anyone else on the planet. Why? Because from a very young age, you kind of understood when mom was getting ready to go into one of her flare-ups, a tantrum, anger, whatever it is, you're very much attuned to people's undercurrents. Because Pluto is about depth. It's about what's underneath the surface. It's about that really psychic energy. So Pluto conjunctive or Pluto opposite the Moon does have a very psychic energy to it, a very deep understanding. So these children grow up to be great psychologists, great healers of the emotion, the mind, the spirit. They are very, very good at that psychotherapy. They're good at looking back at their childhood to see how their struggles have shaped them to who they are today. So, you know, to me, the most important relationship in the world is the first one, the mother. I believe your mother sets a lot when it comes to your emotional makeup. And so some people's mother died early with the Moon aspecting Pluto because Pluto represents death. Some people did not ever know their biological mother. They were adopted. That doesn't mean that their adopted people did not love them. And it doesn't mean that they didn't didn't have caretakers that cared about them, or even it doesn't mean that your mom who had you didn't love you, but it does show difficulty coming from the mother, coming from nurturing, coming from acceptance, coming from a place of love. A lot of times Pluto opposite Moon, there's a lot of fear there, you know, a fear of upsetting mom, or fear that my emotions are not safe with other people, that I can't be emotionally safe in my surroundings. And so I know this sounds really dark, but it's the truth. It is the truth that a soul that comes in with Pluto aspecting that Moon, they are healers on the planet, but they got to deal with a lot of ancestry junk. They have to deal with a lot of guilt, shame, a lot of stuff that deals with feeling unworthy, stuff that happened to them in their own childhood, things that their parents blamed them for. A lot of times, moon aspect of the Pluto, people are scapegoating their problems onto this person. So you're a child that probably was either the black sheep of the family, or you're considered the savior of the family, meaning it was your responsibility to somehow handle everyone else's emotions, handle everything that comes through, and really be strong for everybody else. At the same time, taking the blame for things that happen when really it had nothing to do with you, but either the parents or authority figures or siblings. They took out their anger and their frustration on you because subconsciously they believed you could handle it. But that's really hard to have as a Pluto child, because with you, and you are a Pluto child. When Pluto is aspecting the moon or the sun, you are Plutonian. Whether you have any other Scorpio in your chart or not, this means that your upbringing in some ways was very intense. It means in some ways you are very much more an adult at a younger age, and people didn't understand you, or the adults almost saw you as a threat, because Pluto's energy is about reshaping things. And so if people are in positions of power, your childhood could even threaten subconsciously your pastor, your teacher, your coach, because they sense in you this transformation, this thing that can challenge authority if authority isn't right, and if authority is not using their power for good. And you may not even realize that's what's going on at 4 years old. I've seen it over and over again where authority, and this is why Pluto aspect the moon or the sun usually has power struggles with authority growing up, is because authority has abused their position to take out their frustration on the Pluto child. So I want to say to you, you are safe. You're safe. You're not cursed. There's nothing wrong with you. You are an agent of healing. You're an agent of change. You're here to help wipe clean generations of bad behavior, bad mistakes, by showing us that we can embrace our dark side. By embracing the dark side, it means we can acknowledge the abuse in our life. We can acknowledge the unfairness. We can acknowledge the hurt and say, this happened, this was real, but it doesn't define me. I'm not denying it. To deny it is trying to pretend it's not there. But to embrace it and say it doesn't define me, I am no longer a victim by it, but I own my power. I'm a survivor. And because I'm a survivor, I am now thriving. And so you're really, really good at healing people in their emotional arena. And you're really good at, research and really finding things at the heart, where you get to the heart of the matter. You got how does this really work? And so a lot of it is, how does life work? How do I make life work? And so why am I here? Pluto children are very, very, they're not stupid kids. They're not shallow at all. Some of the most profound, deeply profound thinkers and movers and shakers and feelers are people with that aspect of Pluto with the moon. Please allow yourself to have a space to vent your emotions with safe friends or a therapist or God or spirit, and allow these things in your childhood not to define your adulthood. And this is just one Pluto topic with moon. I'll probably do others, and put your comments below if was your childhood somehow troubling with the mother or with authority figures or any type of abuse. And if you had a great experience with Pluto and the moon, I think that's wonderful. You're still a healer yourself, and you're still very able to tap into the emotions of people to bring them clarity. Namaste. See you in the next video.